Giuseppe.
They blaze and sparkle and then are gone, consumed by passion that gave them birth.
You want to see something magic? Then watch the birdie disappear.
Hello, hello, this is the Doom Show. Richard, Brad, Jeffrey, Nafa. It's the Doom Show. Hello, hello, this is the Doom Show. Slashers, giallo, and horror. It's the Doom Show. The cuckoo clock interrupts the show. Doomed Moviethon, death of the old salesman. Sweaty Cameron Mitchell. Hello, hello, this is the Doom Show. Richard, Brad, Jeffrey, Nafa. It's the Doom Show. It's the Doomed Show. Doomed Show.
Hello and welcome to Hello, this is the Doomed Show. Folks, I am very excited. I am home. I'm sitting in a chair. There's a pile of comics. And I'm here with Nafa, who is here because podcast. Welcome, Nafa.
Hello, thank you.
We were...
Merry Christmas, too, may I say.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, by the time I air this episode, it'll be Christmas because there's piles of movies and comics everywhere. It's just like my life. So we had a bunch of ideas for shows, and then you sent me a picture of Barbara Boucher, and I was like, what are you watching? And you're like, Don't Torture a Duckling, dude. I was like, let's do that. So here we are.
Film you introduced me to 10, 12, 15 years ago.
It's been a while. Long while. Love me some Don't Torture a Duckling. Lucio Fulci directing. Released September 29th, 1972. That's the only thing that won't be a spoiler. Folks.
Unless you didn't know it already.
If you haven't seen Don't Torture a Duckling yet, go watch it, because we're going to go through the beginning, middle, and end, and especially spoil who the killer is. Whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
The only trailer I can find is the 4-minute frickin' Italian one that I just don't like Italian giallo trailers very much.
If they can, they should watch the 102-minute trailer.
It's the feature, you dick.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm going to play just a little bit of that trailer right now.
Non le volevi regalare una bambola?
Sì, ma facevano tutte schifo. L'unico decente era quel paperino.
È qui. È qui. È qui. È qui. Lo sento. È qui. L'assassino è qui. È qui. L'assassino è qui. È qui. Lo sento. È qui.
Wasn't that great that I didn't play for the whole 4 minutes? I mean, unless you speak Italian and Ingloid. Ingloid? Ingloid!
There is an Ingloid in this film.
Oh, no.
No. Isn't that the alien? Oh, what were you thinking?
I was thinking of Mulvina.
Oh.
Whoops. Mean. Opening with meanness.
Don't torture a patata.
No potatoes. This movie opens with some lovely highway that is running through the rural area. I believe it's called Kentucky. No, it's Italy, and it's all of its beautiful.
What? Do you know what highway that is?
I looked it up and immediately forgot what it was.
That's the one I thought it was.
It's definitely in a region, or is it Oregon? Have we made that joke before?
Well, it's Italy, so it's oregano.
Oregon. There's some faint singing in the background. There's a woman digging furiously in the ground, and she digs up a wonderful child corpse. Now, the stingers here in the soundtrack are provided by Riz Ortolani. So one of the great Italian composers of all time.
And didn't you say they were also provided by a space echo?
Yeah, I think he got a space echo for Christmas when this movie came out, because it's just dun, 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 So good. Just, you need your stingers. The movie gets intense real quick. Like, it gets really, really creepy. I mean, the only thing funnier than child murder is dead babies, I guess? I don't know.
Skeletal. I thought, for some reason I totally had blocked that out of my head, that that's what she was digging up. And until I watched it, because I watched it this past Saturday. I don't know what she was digging up before that. I have no clue. I just didn't pay attention, I guess. I don't know. So used to seeing like little lizard skeletons outside.
Oh, that's true. Welcome to Florida. Speaking of dead lizards, we get to meet some great kids. We see this kid, he spies a lizard on a rock and he shoots it with a slingshot.
The Italian Corey Feldman who just whipped a lizard. You told me to say that, so
Thank you. He's got his license to drive. Dream a little dream.
Oh,
There you go. That's a movie.
Yeah, and he's not going to rehab. No. Oh wait.
Oh shit.
Wait, which is the alive
Corey Haim is the dead one. Whoops.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. So these kids, who I believe are Bruno, Michele, and the kid whose name I never remember.
That's 4 more names than I remember.
They're hanging out, smoking cigarettes out by the highway, waiting on some prostitutes. 2 prostitutes, I call them the Fellini 2. Like, these 2 large-breasted, very rotund prostitutes just look like something out of a Fellini movie.
They were, and I want to know where this 1972 Italian diallo whore is, because obviously it's, it's not a photo ad or internet, so it's sight unseen, so.
You get what you get.
Yeah.
And this is just...
The lira wasn't worth much.
No, and neither were these whores. But the kids are excited because the prostitutes are meeting a couple of Johns out by this little abandoned house.
And apparently they're bringing fruit. Watermelons or something like
I saw they're coming.
What are they like?
They're real whoppers. They've got huge tits like watermelons and huge rears.
What are we waiting for?
Come on!
They call this house where the prostitutes have sex the haunted house, which I picked up on at the end of the movie. They talk about that place again.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's the haunted house because it's haunted by the little birdie. We get the town moron named Giuseppe. He shows up.
Oh, I get that joke now.
Hey! Giuseppe is, like I said, the town moron. He is played...
Inspector Clouseau,
played by Vito Passeri, and he's credited as Barra on IMDb, so he's Giuseppe Barra. This guy, he wants to watch the prostitutes ply their trade, but they don't let him watch because he didn't pay.
No money, no watch.
And then she slaps him in the face.
Which was apparently a freebie.
That's what I said. Hey.
No money, no peeking. Get the picture?
This is all this lighthearted, like we just dug up a skeleton of a baby, and now we're getting to this lighthearted stuff. Don't worry, it'll go away. He spies on the prostitutes through the roof, and they're like, whatever, and the guy says, hey, Giuseppe, watch the little birdie disappear. Oh, man.
I think there was probably something lost in translation there. It means something else in Italian.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's the same. So the kids pick on Giuseppe for being stupid. They call him a big baby, and they throw rocks at him. So he threatens to kill them.
You dirty boys, get out of here!
Come and get us, you boys! You can't even walk.
I'll get you!
Come back!
Come back here! I'll get you! All of you! And when I do, I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
The little birdie that appears is a red herring. Or is a red herring a fish?
A fish.
Fuck. Damn it.
It's a Swedish fish in an Italian movie, so it's okay.
I'm glad I made that terrible thing I did. It wasn't even a joke. We get a respite from all the fun with some nice witchcraft scenes. We see some little figures that a hand, a very dirty hand, is poking little needles into. And we see that these represent these kids, and there's lots of...
This is the first of the scenes that I'm going to say is one of my favorite scenes, because the hand is crafting these wax figures, and it's just caked in wax. It wasn't just like they stuck an actor and go, oh, here, make a figure. This dude had been working at it.
Yeah.
And whoever they did, and it's just got poor dudette.
Could be a lady.
The hand is just covered in wax, and they're shaping it and molding it, and it's uncomfortable.
The sense of doom and unease is like really... and
there's a lot of this give and take in the entire film, which I'll mention that later, but this sort of claustrophobic, covered in wax, after a scene that was big with huge scope and scale. And,
Oh yeah, we should throw out the name of the cinematographer on this bad boy. It is Sergio Diofisi. He also shot Brad favorite Queens of Evil, which is a friggin' fantastic movie. He also shot Fulci's The Eroticist, aka The Senator Likes Women, which has some similar themes to this one. I highly recommend that film. There's lots of butt pinching. I almost said butt plugging, but that would have been really inappropriate.
I'm glad you didn't say butt
I know,
plugging.
thank God. Michele, this young man, he goes home and he gets some crap from his mom, and she is kind of like a maid or servant for a rich lady who's staying in the town, in this very rural, small town.
Is she like her landlady or something?
I think... The Patrizia is, we're going to meet her in a second. It's Barbara Boucher. Mm-hmm. Her father owns the house. He built the house. It's like their summer home, but he never goes there. She's there hiding out. We'll find out why. Michele's mother, I believe, is sort of the maid. And then Michele's father is the groundskeeper or something like that.
He's not Scottish.
I know. It doesn't make any sense. I'd like to see his Willie. Aww. Upstairs, Michele's taking some orange juice to Patrizia, and there's this hot, sexy fucking bottle of J&B. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's about 500 gallons of J&B in this movie. Oh, and there's also some naked chick. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Enter Barbara Boucher. Barbara Boucher, giallo starlet. She plays Patrizia, like I was saying. She is... naked as a jaybird.
The day she came into this world.
Man, it's so good.
Made an impression on that boy, for sure.
Nothing creepy about this scene at all.
No, you said it was something he'd remember his adult life.
Yeah, I said, if I was that kid, I might remember this moment in my adulthood. And he said, but he doesn't have one. Aww.
Oh, spoiler.
She's hitting on this kid because I guess she's bored. It's really uncomfortable. I mean, yeah, what a lucky kid getting to see a naked lady, but she takes it a little too far. It's really not cool,
yeah,
man.
It's kind of very direct.
Would you like to go to bed with me? I said, would you like to go to bed with me? Yeah. I bet you would.
Michele! You up there? Michele!
Coming!
Michele!
Mom, I said I'm coming!
Well, come on!
Go. Obey your mama.
She mocks him a little bit, and all I could think of was like, lady, you're turning him into a serial killer. Like, stop it. He's going to expect this from all women now.
And she was in the Barbara Bucket in this scene was an archetypical version of what became like Baby Firefly from the Rob Zombie movies. And the way she laughs, the way she sort of treats him and flirts, and then with the other hand basically slaps him across the face and laughs at his manhood and all that kind of stuff.
So good.
It was awesome. It's something I had not noticed in the multiple viewings prior to this one. I kind of edged into it on a Saturday, but
I liked your Keeping Up Appearances reference there. That was good.
Thank you.
We immediately cut to the first death. One of the great kids named Bruno. He's out after dark and is
with
being
the dog
chased.
barking.
Yeah.
Now listen to the first 3 barks that the dog barks, because it goes roar, 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 and it's that same roar, roar, roar from the barking jingle bells that you hear at Christmas time.
Which is one of my favorite songs of all time. Like, Leetta got that for me, and I laugh every Christmas when we listen to it. It's so good.
There's a lot in this film of audio clues that go other places that you don't expect, and I get lost in them.
Like,
I'm just like, oh my god, that's this.
What's happening? We gotta get lost in something, because, the plot is already losing you. So much plot. So much plot.
So good.
Bruno gets killed, and this is my vibe moment. Like, when he's running towards the house, the whole area is, you can kind of see, but the main light source is coming from the house, where that dog is barking, and his dad kicks the dog. Thanks, fucking asshole. That whole sequence just gives me that European horror and giallo vibe. I just love it.
The dad kicks the dog in a very awkward way, if I remember.
You could tell he didn't want to kick the dog, and it was just...
There's also a scene later where kicking is involved.
Oh, yeah.
And ends up in a very awkward way. So I don't know if Italians are great at soccer, but they can't kick people or animals.
That's why Mussolini failed so hard. If he could have just kicked Hitler.
Yeah.
Kickler? Kittler? I forget. Killed her.
Meow.
We meet Andrea Martelli, played by Thomas Millian. He's our fearless reporter. Great introduction. The cops are talking to Bruno's parents. They've gotten a phone call from the kidnapper, quote unquote, who says he has Bruno. So the cops are questioning them about it. And this guy just shows up with his mustache.
Well, that's how he got in the window.
He flew in on his mustache.
Mm-hmm.
And he's questioning them too and leading the conversation. And that's when one of the police inspector or the police commissioner, I think.
He was the El Duce of the Carabinieri.
Which is amazing. He is like, who are you again? Oh, I'm a reporter. Hey, how's it going? He even admits to climbing in the window. It's so funny.
And then he tries to leave by going out the window. But no, we'll take you out the door.
Yes, go out the door, please. We don't want any liabilities if you fall and hurt yourself.
No, not the window. Please, sir, out this way.
Oh, certainly, I'm sorry. Be seeing you.
Goodbye.
Thomas Millian, I don't know if you're familiar with some of his stuff. He was one of those really strange actors. This is one of his most toned down, chill performances. Normally, he's way, way over the top. It always struck me how laid back he is in this movie. You just killed that frickin' Old English.
No, I've been drinking it since we started the movie.
No, I know you didn't just down it, but you just finished it.
Yeah, it didn't... I think I was too involved in the movie to even be like, oh, I'm drinking Old English. Yep. A 32, not a 40.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have 40s here.
I have to drink 8 more.
Florida. Yeah.
OE is becoming my doomed, my bloggy thing.
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
While we're still talking about that interrogation scene.
Yeah.
The quote-unquote kidnapper requests a ransom of 6 million lira. And looking it up on an old converter, I found out that's $3,444.78 in Ameri money.
So if he'd gotten away with this scheme,
he would be a thousandaire 3 times over.
What was the thing McDonald's had for a long time? What was their bit? It was like he'd be like a dozenaire or a dollar heir or something.
Oh yeah,
shit. My pop culture has failed me.
Well, luckily enough, you did find the YouTube video, and here it is.
Boom!
And if not, you'll just edit out what I just said.
Exactly. Or I'll just make it longer and play it over and over again. We find out that this kidnapper is Giuseppe Barra, who he has an awesome scheme to cheat these people out of money. Doesn't go so well, and he gets immediately captured.
Another great scene where they just flip on all the lights and they're like, surprise, bitch!
So
or what was that translated into Italian?
Vaffanculo, everybody.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Fongu, I'm Sandra D.
We just watched that last night.
Wait, that's the second reference to Grease, too.
Holy shit. Our lives are revolving around hey.
To that, you were talking about the person who gave us a horrible review.
Oh, yeah. Go to IMDb, look up Don't Torture a Duckling, look at all the user reviews, and read the guy who hated this movie the most. He is amazing.
I've watched so many 70s films.
I hate movie. I imagine him alone in a warehouse with a megaphone screaming into the darkness. Like, I hated this movie. Can you guys hear me? So they dig up Bruno's body, and it's funny, haha.
Bruno's got a limp wrist.
Oh, man.
I don't know how he deteriorated so quickly.
I think he's just covered in dirt, but yeah, it was a floppy arm, real floppy. Maybe they lived under power lines. Giuseppe admits that Bruno was already dead, so they haul him off for more questioning, and then we finally get to meet Mark Perel, a.k.a. Don Alberto Avallone, the beloved priest.
Did you say abalone shell? Oh, Abalone Perel.
Now I'm getting confused.
Abalone shells are shiny.
Oh.
Alberone Pershell or whatever. Perchetta.
God damn it.
I don't even know who you're talking about now.
Mark Perel is the priest.
Oh, Father Bone Structure.
Yes, Father Bone Structure. Mark Perel was a great actor. He did a lot of cop movies, did a lot of giallo. Unfortunately, he also did a lot of drugs and died very young, like in the early 80s. He died of an overdose.
I also want to say Father Bone Structure, I believe, is a paraphrasing of the Giallo Meltdown book.
Really?
I think so.
Oh my God. You're throwing my jokes back at me.
I'm being not self-referential, but bouncing towards a self-referential.
Well, folks, if you have a copy of Giallo Meltdown, a Moviethon diary, you open up...
page 82.
Page 82.
I think it's 82.
Maybe. Go to the Don't Torture a Duckling review, and if I didn't say Father Bone Structure, write it in the margin. Thanks. I said thanks.
There's the copy of it.
I'm not getting up.
Now I'm curious to see if it's page 82 or not.
Oh, fuck. I gotta do it.
You only have one copy?
I gave away a couple in a contest.
Oh, that's right.
I'll order some more. I like to have multiples of me. So what's on page 82 here?
Yeah, what is page 82? Let's see.
It's Don't Torture a Duckling, everybody.
Woo!
So let's see.
What is his name? Abalone Shell?
I say Don Alberto, a priest with beautiful bone structure.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
So
there you go.
How's that?
But it was page 83, asshole.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, shit. What a dick. Beep, 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 beep. Suck. We're both racing to the stupids. He comes in surrounded by the children. He teaches the boys to be boys and play soccer. I'm kind of confused. Is it just I'm just assuming it's a school connected to the church.
It's a boys' school it must be a boys' school because I was about to say it might have been an orphanage, but the one kid had parents at least.
I don't want to say it was a seminary.
But at night, the rectory was a mess.
You made that joke again. All the clocks were broken or whatever. It's a Rawhead Rex joke.
Yeah, it was
Oh, shit. This is great. The crowd goes wild, and by crowd, I mean horrible villagers. They want to tear Giuseppe apart because they think he's the killer. Until that night, and this is a beautiful scene, or is it an early morning? It might be early morning.
Oh, there were two in rapid succession that I don't quite remember how they go.
I know that the crowd wants to tear him apart. They barely get him into the police car, and then all of a sudden, it seems like late night, early morning, and the old woman is walking with her laundry?
Yeah, that was the next morning, yes.
Yeah.
Now, that's the last we see of Giuseppe, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
The entire thing.
This clears him, because this old woman is walking down through the long winding stuff. It's a beautiful scene, gorgeous cinematography.
Long, drawn-out scene.
She finds a body in the fountain, and it's
in the washer.
I was just gonna say,
in the tub.
It's accidentally comical, and you made me laugh so hard I almost passed out because you said, "Well, that mannequin's so surprised. Those are really unpopular in the store."
It just has whatever mannequin they used with whatever kid couldn't hold his breath, which is surprising me after being around Father Bone Structure so long that they couldn't find one who would. That this mannequin has such a startled expression and a horrible, like, it would be the most frightening thing in the Sears Tough Skins department, especially for the portly children.
I just imagine these people being afraid of the display at the store. That's why I started losing my damn mind.
The kids just hate it.
Oh my God, I loved it.
Let me just throw this in here. This could go in anywhere, but especially after Giuseppe's scene and then cutting to this scene, there are so many crazy claustrophobic scenes.
Oh,
the same way they used a couple of years later in like Jesus Christ Superstar with the lepers, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's wide open space.
Yeah.
I mean, the film started with wide open space, then the ring, ring, ring music with the claustrophobic digging and dirt, and then back to the wide open, and then the wax, and it just hovers between these contrasts, and you're comfortable, but you're not. It's pretty fantastic because there's such a barrage of sensory overload, and then it lulls you with these big, beautiful, open expanses.
Yeah,
and quiet refrains and the melodic, Ornella Vanoni soundtrack, just sort of refraining.
Super, super dynamic movie. Like, this kind of movie set in this rural area could be really, really plain and washed out. Like, a different director might have, like, tried to make things more gritty and more dirty. And this just goes from the bright green to, like, of the countryside and the darkness of the church, which the church is terrifying at the beginning of the movie. That's the thing I forgot to mention. Like, the kids are in there praying, and it's just such a frightening place. Got the dead saint.
And then with the
on the wall,
the funeral later, where it's like all you see are these stark, spooked faces,
right,
in the darkness, and it just, like you said, there's like beautiful, harmonious pieces of nature combined with like this human terror in like a giant mixing bowl, and it's fantastic. It's unsettling and yet at the same time calming.
Nice. I'm gonna play a clip here. Don Alberto and Andrea have started to become friends, or at least they're slightly chummy, and they're talking to each other about the town, and it's a really good back and forth with them, talking about the quote-unquote ignorance of the town people and everything. So I'm going to drop that in right here.
People aren't worried much about their immortal souls. They watch TV, go to the movies. They read the papers with all those scandalous photographs. But you're a reporter, aren't you?
Yes, I work for a daily.
Things like this happen, and the world is shocked. I'm sorry. The water's turned off at 6.
Oh.
You look for a culprit. But no one ever asks if the culprit isn't our would-be liberalism.
No one?
What can a poor priest do? Oh, I'm a friend of the news vendor, and certain magazines aren't sold here. In fact, they don't even get here.
We also see the dynamic of Patrizia. She shows up and she's flirting with Don Alberto. And
somebody who shouldn't be flirted with.
No.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, she's a wild child.
Well, Don Alberto, what have they decided in Rome? Can you get married yet?
Mm-mm.
It's so much fun, and that's the other thing that makes the movie so dynamic is you have another outsider from this area who's, Barbara Boucher is a freaking force of nature of her own. So
she's just this playful flirt when to the stoic nature of the church.
Oh yeah, sex. We cut again to the rain, and we see Michele is sneaking out after a phone call, a mysterious phone call.
His parents aren't eating spaghetti, but they are watching a Western.
Yes, and they are drinking J&B, which is, what else do you do?
And that film is Gringo?
Yeah, I did not recognize the spaghetti Western, but you looked it up. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Don't know Gringo.
Garringo was his name.
So Michele gets strangled to death while he's out in the rain. We don't know what he's doing out there, what's going on. He's definitely meeting someone. Doesn't go so well.
Where was he hiding? Because there was a crucifix at one end, and then it was overgrown in parts.
He was hiding by the crucifix, and somebody was walking through. I always forget who this is. Somebody was walking through with a machete, clearing the
It
area.
was the hermit guy.
Oh, it was Francesco.
Thank you.
Okay,
Francesco.
another. We'll get to Francesco in a bit.
Dark, rainy scene with nothing but a glowing white body of Jesus sort of hanging in the middle of it.
This kid avoids getting chopped by Francesco, but ends up getting strangled by the black-gloved killer. I don't know. Life isn't precious.
Yeah. Suffer, little children.
Oh, they do. So we see Patrizia running around in the rain at a gas station looking guilty as shit. Like she's just setting up something here. What could it be? I don't know, a drug deal? When questioned by police as to what the hell she was doing out in the middle of the night, she admits that she's a junkie, and the reason she's hiding out at her dad's house, this vacation house, is so that she can get clean of the drugs.
Or as they call them in Italy, drugs.
Los Drogos. La Gringos. La Gringos? I don't know.
That goes back to the Western.
La Gringo. Next up is this great funeral scene. I mean, there's so much going on. I mean, there's so much going on in the whole movie. But this funeral scene is like this info dump / atmospheric freak fest. It's so good. There's so much going on.
From this quiet entrance sneaking in of the beginning of it.
What was that?
To the scene itself. To the quiet exit afterwards. It's sandwiched by two great segues.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then the scene itself, once again, I'm going to say one of my favorite scenes with the cinematography and everything about it. And just about all the remaining suspects are in the church.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I'm not sure even what to say about it.
We meet Irene Papas, the actress. She was in a bunch of stuff. She was in The Ideal Place to Kill, aka Oasis of Fear. Very, very awesome actress.
I was afraid you were going to say Oasis of the Dead.
Oasis of the Dead.
Yeah, well, whatever it's also called. Oh my god. Thank god it wasn't that.
I have it on Blu-ray because I love it.
Oasis of the Dead?
Yeah. Why do I think? Oh, Oasis of the Zombies.
That's it.
That's the title. Yeah, Oasis of the Jess Franco.
Oh my god, that film was trying.
I love it. I buy the Blu-ray because I'm stupid. Yeah, she's...
okay, I saw the edited version that Netflix had.
The version that I have, it's the same, except it's in widescreen, and it's really pretty. That helps. Yeah. And I also love the bonkers, stupid-ass dialogue. That's
that was a nuts.
Yeah. That's one of those movies I love. I don't recommend to anybody. Irene Papas, she plays Donna Aurelia, who is the mother of Don Alberto, and she's there with the daughter, her daughter. Fuck,
Malvina.
She's there with her daughter, Malvina,
who's also known as Piccola Patata.
She is definitely the little potato of the movie. She is played by Fausta Avelia. God damn it! Fuck these fucking Italian. I might cut that part. Fausta Avelli. She was in Phenomena as one of Jennifer Connelly's school chums. But the movie I know her best is from Enigma Rosso, which is a fucking crazy giallo. One of the craziest giallos ever. It's late in the cycle of the late 70s, and it's really freaking sleazy and also ridiculous. So we find out from some great exposition from the cops, who are, of course, monitoring this funeral, that the daughter is subnormal, quote unquote. That's what they say it.
Well, actually, the priest says that later. Too.
Oh, okay, yeah. The phrase subnormal, phrase moron, the phrase retarded. It's all in there just to help us get the point home. So a person we've been seeing around off and on through this whole movie is Florinda Balkan, who plays Masiara.
She's one of my favorites.
She is really freaking cool. She's a great actress in tons of gialli. She's a very unusual looking actress. I really like her a lot.
She's very powerful and down to earth looking in this, and in a gorgeous way, in a very, very amazing way. And she, I would believe she was a powerful witch. And
yeah, she's very local, very much into black magic. She's apparently was once possessed by the devil and cured of said possession by Francesco, who screwed the demon out of her. And then she had the baby that we'll be getting to later. Anyway.
Which we actually kind of got to it first.
It's true, the very first thing.
But she was, at the time, probably 15, 16.
Whoops.
Which we deduced from.
Yep.
So there's that.
Nothing bad happens out there. She's looking very suspicious, and the cops are watching her very closely. Someone has a freak out. I believe it's Michele's mother, who flips out and screams that the killer is here, and we see all of our...
Everybody looks around at each other, and the camera pans around to just about everybody you've seen so far.
Their shifty-eyed glances. Oh, man, so good. This is definitely setting us up for one of them, their mystery films.
It's a good mystery.
Great mystery film. They go looking for... The cops... what were you going to say? Sorry.
Florinda Balkan sneaks out.
Yeah.
Again. And then it's end of scene 1.
Yeah.
End of the first act.
Yeah, primo tempo and secondo tempo, which films were split up in these parts so they could have the intermission in the middle and stuff.
So you could go to the lobby.
Yeah, I love that. I wish more DVDs and Blu-rays left that in there. There's a lot of bootlegs I have that have that primo tempo, so kind of...
When I was a child, we had a place called the Mesa Theater, and on Saturdays and weekdays during the summer, they would play classic films and In Search Of and things like that. But the classic films often had the intermission in the middle, and they would set it up, and for 15 minutes, you go to the bathroom, go to the lobby, and it left a great impression as a child. And I was so ecstatic when my copy of this had it still in there. I was like, I can go to the bathroom. It's okay to pause it. And it brought back a lot of memories of films that were on their second, third, fourth life again, as a summer classic. And they still held true to those intermissions.
Now, this movie, I mean, for a giallo, it's a little long, but it's 102 minutes, so they had a break even in a 102-minute movie, whereas now you go see a movie that's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Go see The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. No intermission there.
I want to say that one of them did, but probably not. I just walked out.
Yeah,
and walked back in.
I think I
during the Hobbit sex scene.
Oh my God, hob sex?
Yeah,
I almost said hobo sex.
Oh, they were hobnobbing. That would make you a homosexual.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, you were setting up that one.
Oh, I'm sexually attracted to vagrants. That makes me a hobosexual.
Hello, Pride of Japan is tied up in giant robots.
We just referenced our own band. Yay! Thanks, Dr. Chris.
If only we had more than one band.
Oh, Ladies of Death Row Swimsuit Calendar.
Celisai Malai.
The Missiles. We got too many.
Yeah, there's other things. Schlog in general.
I love that. I love that word. We're popular.
And my stuff. You do stuff on my stuff.
Yeah, I'll do stuff on your stuff tonight.
Yeah.
So the cops notice that Masiara looks really suspicious, so they go looking for her. One of the people that impregnated her. I guess just the one person who impregnated her. I just made her into the town slut. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's the town bike. Everyone's had a ride.
Holy shit. Francesco is played by George Wilson, who's a French actor, and he is the local black magic expert / guy who poops. It's another funny scene. The cops are questioning him, and it's just ridiculous because in the middle of it, he's like, "Nope, I'm gonna poop now."
I'm assuming is that really what he does?
Yeah, he goes to his little bathroom there.
Yeah,
his little squat hole. I said squat hole.
You did.
Yes.
Squatters' rights.
So yeah, he gives a lot more background on Mashera, and I can't remember that scene very well. I know it happened.
Just, it's basically they're sort of interrogating him and kind of like adding him to the suspect list.
Yeah, we need more of those suspecticles?
Suspesters.
Look, Francesco, all we want is to ask Machara a couple of questions.
She hasn't been here for 2 weeks. And when she's coming back? Only St. Benedict and St. Mark know that. Excuse me, I gotta take a crap.
They find Machara's cave dwelling, where they find her baby skeleton. Her baby skeleton?
She removed it. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's hers in the possessive sense.
The dogs find it.
It's like discarded KFC that eventually, like, fused together again.
Man.
Wait, IFC, because it's Italy.
Independent Film Channel, sir.
Oh, dang it. No, it's Italian fried chicken. Come on.
What was it? No, wait. Crappy Graphics Ireland.
We're referencing the
Rawhead Rex. That's our popular episode. Maybe. Not to the Irish. Anyway.
Ankle deep in leprechauns.
Oh. They also find 3 tiny graves, and each one is the... Sorry. You're making me laugh. They find 3 tiny graves with the wax figures that she was poking pins in. So
Italian mounds.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes coconut happens. Oh, commercials. So they go after her. They're chasing her through the woods with
spectacular chase.
They chase her with some dogs. They got some German or Italian shepherds.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And yeah, they surround her, and it's really super tense and really well shot. These dogs are great dog actors. A lot of great dog acting in the whole movie.
Yeah.
She's captured and brought to the police station where she immediately admits to killing the kids.
Mm-hmm. She gives up the dope.
She has a great monologue here, and man, Florinda Balkan goes bonkers in this scene. Like,
she is spectacular.
When she screams, like, I killed them! And her eyes are... You have to laugh because you're uncomfortable. Because it's just this confrontational image of her eyes bugging out at you from the screen.
And it's so sudden. She turns from being, yes, I killed them. I do it this way. And then snap, eyes bugged out, I'll break you! And then, oh my God, it's gorgeous.
Man.
I told you I did it. Put me in jail, and that's it.
No. How did you do it?
I put them to death. I warned them. I said, I'll break you! They shouldn't have done it. And they did. I told them not to. They asked for what they got. I gave it to them. But they asked for it. They went too far. I said, I'll break you. They shouldn't have. They asked for it. Death! The bastards!
She has a fit. She has epilepsy, and so she passes out. And then they give her what I'm assuming is a sedative or some sodium pentothal.
Epidural. Why would they give her
insulin? An epidural.
J&B.
They give her a shot of J&B right through the vein, just like you need. This is where she goes through the very complicated process of her ritual of how she killed them. The cops are like, oh, that's how she killed them, quote unquote. It was great. The cops' faces are very, they're a little frustrated by this whole scene. It's really good.
It was spectacular. She's just amazing.
Yeah. They find out that it was impossible for her to have killed one of the kids, because she was too far away from the actual, where they found the body, so it wouldn't have worked, so they have to let her go. And they release her. The cops are hesitant to do this, because they are releasing her to her
spectacular death scene.
And there's a lovely line in there about her sticking things in dolls, which made me think that Francisco got a real doll at some point. And I don't know. That was the thought that crossed my mind. That's
hello. Machara goes out, and the town, believing that she has actually killed these kids, not real understanding with her now that she's out. And there's a great image of the first person she sees is this old woman who's like sewing in the square, and she spits when she sees her. Oh, so good. And then, of course, she's followed into the countryside to a graveyard where 3 men, presumably, I know one of them is the father of Michele.
Yeah.
There's a couple other dudes. And they kill the living shit out of her with chains and a bat.
This is the scene that is so renowned about this. That I hear about this film, and this was one of the first giallos that you ever let me borrow that I was like, I love this film. But this scene was so hard to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so well done. And now that I know what's going to happen and I know how it goes, what strikes me is the music.
Oh, yeah. Very effective.
It changes direction so quickly, each track. And each one of the changes has nothing to do with the actual scene going on.
Yep.
And it's so jarring and unsettling, and it goes from rock to Motown to this ballad, this gorgeous ballad that's a refrain through the entire film.
One of the guys, when he gets out of his car, he turns up the radio really loud, presumably to give them a soundtrack to what they're doing, or just cover up the sounds of what's coming. And yeah, they go from a really acid rock kind of a guitar part. I think the lyrics are talking about red or something like that. So it might be kind of like referencing blood, but I might be mishearing the lyrics. And then the funk song is like sort of almost a James Brownie kind of a James Brownie. That's terrible. James Brown-esque, thank you.
We're in the South.
That's true, Florida. So a James Brown-esque song is playing, and it's like it's one of those jilted love kind of a songs where the guy's really angry at the woman. So you could have some of those lyrics in there.
But the James Brown music, it's all funky.
And then it cuts to Ornella Vanoni, one of those really super brassy pop singers.
A change of mood now. Let's listen to the lovely voice of Ornella Vanoni. Ornella, take it away.
Watching the film, how much sound has to do with this film.
It's great sound design. It's great sound design.
The cinematography plus the sound design in this film, there are things that have better special effects and stuff. They don't even rate. They don't even make a difference.
Yeah.
The mannequin in the bottom of the pond. At the time I laughed, but then I think about it, I was like, oh, there was a body in the bottom of the pond. And
right.
The music makes you... Those two things... This film is almost perfect.
Yeah.
With its flaws, it's almost perfect.
So good. And yeah, the death of Machara, it's the ignorance of the town lashing out at this poor, undeserving creature, this
poor unfortunate soul.
What is that from?
Little Mermaid, isn't it? Is that Ursula's song?
I don't know. Porn.
Porn fortunate song.
Porn fortunate. This scene of her getting killed affects me more and more every time I watch it. And I've seen this movie tons over the years.
It never loses how powerful it is.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, I see another thing to be squeamish about.
Yeah. It's really tight. The next thing we see is the little girl, Malvina, is walking along in the town square, and she has a headless doll, which Patrizia sees and wants to help her out by getting her a new toy that, has a head on it. And there's this hilarious moment where she's like, come here, I'll buy you a toy. Just like pulling on her arm. The kid's like, no, leave me alone. It's like, I'll buy you a toy, you little fucking bitch.
And this is the scene where I first thought, does this little girl really have developmental issues? Does she know she's in a film acting, or is she just being tortured by these strangers? And I think I've come to the conclusion she's an actress.
Yeah, she was in a bunch of movies, so it's just a great actor. And this is more of the red herring aspect where they're making Patrizia, she's a junkie or a former junkie. She's really mean to this little girl, or at least trying to be nice in the wrong way. So she looks really guilty. It's great. She gets her a Donald Duck toy, which is where the "Don't Torture a Duckling" comes from, which is also, I still think, and I said this, Brad and I covered all of Fulci's gialli back in 2011 on episode 8, and we talked about this movie for like maybe 15, 20 minutes or something. But I always thought that his later film, New York Ripper, where the killer talks like a duck, is a reference to this, which is not good, no matter.
It was a fun film.
I'm glad I have it on Blu-ray. It's easily Fulci's sleaziest. He was trying to compete with every other slasher movie and every other late period giallo and be really sleazy, and everyone got mad at him for it because he went too far in the other direction and freaked everybody out. Like, that's not what we wanted. It's like, okay, fuck you guys. I'll make Murder Rock, and Murder Rock has almost no sleaze in it at all. It's hilarious.
I always confuse New York Ripper with the John Lydon film.
Oh yeah, the John Lydon and Harvey Keitel.
Mm-hmm. That has like 5 different names.
Yeah, it's around the same time.
Yeah, it's early 80s. Have you seen that yet?
No, I still haven't watched it. I've seen parts of it. I know that there's a lot of cigar porn, and I don't mean Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's, like, when I watched that scene of him and Harvey Keitel's cigar collection, I got really cigar happy.
Wow.
I just put them in my butt. I don't smoke them. Okay. Moving right along after the butts. All right. We get to meet another great kid. We get to meet Mario. Oh, fuck. Mario.
Let me just say, all these kids deserve this.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
None of the kids are really likable in this movie, except for Malvina. She's like the only likable
and
kid.
Maybe the whiny kid who was Mario's friend.
Yeah, Mario and his buddy are out there.
All the traumatized kids, they're fine.
Exactly.
The ones that are half-assed little versions of the older people in this town, then, you pitch them off.
Mario thinks that because Marcia is dead, that there's no danger anymore, so we can go back to the quote-unquote haunted house and watch the hookers get it on, or hide the bird.
Dial a whore.
Yeah. So he wants to go, and his buddy, who's the whiny kid, is like, don't go, it's dangerous, I'm scared, blah-bitty-blue. This kid will live. Mario will not live.
I don't feel like it. I'm afraid.
Scaredy cat, come on now.
No.
Go on and play soccer, sissy. You like that, don't you?
I'm not a sissy.
Yes, sissy.
You're a liar.
Oh, go play soccer with Don Alberto.
Mario! Mario! Come back here, it's getting late now!
Who gives a damn?
And the next time we see Mario, he's a corpse.
He's a float-sickle.
Yes, he is. His head has been bashed in, and he's floating face down in a frickin' puddle or a stream or something.
The very first time I watched this movie, beside the chain whipping scene, this was the scene that struck me.
Yeah.
That stayed with me, was of him going from having a conversation to the very next scene he's floating face down in the water.
And unlike the dummy in the in the fountain earlier. It's not as funny. It is really, truly shocking. Yeah. When the priest, Don Alberto, he finds out from the other kids that that's where Mario is gone, he tries to go out there, and that's when they find the body. And at the crime scene, Andrea is there snooping around. He finds Patrizia's cigarette lighter, which was a big thing earlier. She lit their cigarettes for them.
And near the crime scene, her car had a flat tire.
Yep. And when he questions her about it, it turns out that she did indeed have a flat, and the kid was going to help her, and then the kid just disappeared. So she says. At her place, we find a book of black magic, a book on black magic, and he questions her about that, and that leads to her connection with Francesco. Cops want to talk to her again, and we get a huge interrogation scene where she admits to being into both hashish and black magic.
And marijuana.
Yes, like you do. You can't have one without the other. Yeah. We know this. And I said, in her defense, it's the early 70s, and she's a healthy young woman. Hashish and Satanism and whatever. It all goes together, man. Listen to some Yes records, you fucking assholes.
Oh, I forgot to mention about the scene where they were chasing Florinda Balkan, about how it looked like a Heart video.
Heart before all the sandwiches. Oh wait, this isn't a video podcast. We had a great moment.
Knowing looks that just you miss.
Just know that my hand's under the table grabbing his knee.
There's a very long tablecloth.
Soaked. Anyway. Cops can't pin anything on her, so they let her go. And that's when she sees a photo that Andrea took at one of the scenes, and there was the Donald Duck head from the doll that she bought, Mulvena. And so they realize that Mulvena keeps attacking her toys and popping their heads off because she's trying to imitate strangling them. So they decide to investigate the family. The suspicion is immediately thrown on Irene Papas, a.k.a. Donna Aurelia, who is acting very suspicious at this point. And she has run off with the little girl, and so they're all chasing her. The priest is like, I don't know where they are, but I have an idea where they might be going. So everyone runs to this little area. And of course, this is where you really have to wonder if Fausta Avelli was getting traumatized by these scenes.
Yeah.
Because the mother has her, she's holding her, but the little girl wants to go to Don Alberto. She wants to be with her brother. And it's such a convincing performance and really, intense scene where he steals the child from his own mother, and bashes her head into the wall, which kind of makes us think maybe he's not the hero. That's just how you treat mommies.
It's Italy.
Ouch. Also, yes. After drinking some J&B and doing their amateur detective bit, Andrea and Patrizia show up at this mountainous little mountain range here where there's some caves where she was trying to hide with Mulvena.
The funny thing that I thought at this scene, you have the very macho Italian stereotype guy, and it's like taking control, and my mustache will do this. Yet Barbara Boucher's the one driving and in charge, and kind of going. It just now dawned on me, while there's this flirtation going on and being like, hey, I've got a mustache. And she's like, hey, I'm naked a lot.
Yeah.
There's no sexual tension between the two of them.
That
Zero.
Is so good. Good call.
It's strange for a film of this time to have that absence.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time together, especially once they start to solve the mystery together. And there is, like you said, no sexual tension.
It's a relief.
It's obviously they're comfortable around each other, and if it had been any other director, there would have been a sex scene, and that would have become something we needed to see that these characters had to do together. So yeah, that's so funny.
And it wasn't even like they were brother-sister types. They were just two people.
Exactly.
And it directs your brain away from certain things that you're like, is this going to happen?
Yeah.
It didn't even dawn on me till right
any other Barbara Boucher movie, she would have been having that sex scene. And I wonder if that was how that came about. And like I was saying earlier, this is Thomas Million like you never see him ever. He's always way more keyed up than this. And
the only time she was naked was around the kid. I mean, that's thinking about it, that's
just her thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's why she's a junkie, because of the guilt of being a pedophile.
Well, she did say she got the drugs from kids.
Oh, man.
So.
What a pervo.
Depends, yeah.
So we have our big showdown here, and, Don Alberto, the priest, is the killer. This is a hilarious trope of the giallo genre that's hard to talk about. You don't want to spoil the movies. But holy crap, this happened so many times in the first few gialli I watched, which I will not mention here, that I was like, the priest is always the killer? Like, oh man, it's so funny. Like, I wish I could list those films for you guys that I watched in succession, but it's just, imagine.
Here's where you'll cut in with the list.
No. Just imagine the every giallo you've seen where the priest was the killer and then watch them in a row. That's pretty much what happened to me.
I remember you mentioning that. And then
so
you handed
funny.
me this one, you were like, it's the priest again. You said something like that.
But it's really great. It's funny because it happens so much, but it's so good. We find out the psychology behind it, what's wrong with Don Alberto, that he believes that these children are sinners, that if he can save them when they're young, then he'll save them from eternal damnation. And the only way to save them is to kill them, brutally murder them. Thanks, Dick.
Alberto! Listen to me! Alberto!
What is it?
Save her, or Marvin will be killed. He'll kill her. He's mad. My son is mad.
Malvina, too, will go to paradise, Mama. She will be with the angels in heaven. It's not for myself that I do this. It's for them. For all those blessed innocent ones. Nobody must stop me. I have to save them. They are my brothers, and I love them.
While trying to save Malvina, both Andrea and Patrizia are fighting him. Of course, Andrea fares a little bit better.
Except he gets knocked down, and when Patrizia comes in, all you WWE fans will know what I'm talking about. She comes in from the side and hooks around his neck like she's going to do a swinging neck breaker. And my God, it was almost beautiful. She doesn't, ultimately.
Holy shit.
But it was like, oh.
That would have been so amazing.
It was pretty amazing anyway.
If you've ever seen Torso, there's a drop kick in that movie that is fucking spectacular. That would have been good too. She's like, ah! Whoa, Barbara Boucher. Andrea gets knocked over the edge of the cliff, but he hasn't fallen yet. He's hanging on the edge, and Don Alberto is trying to stomp on his hands.
This little piggy. He does one stomp.
And then he goes to stomp, and you pointed out how fucking hilarious this part is. He just grabs his foot.
The sole of his foot.
Andrea grabs the sole of his foot and just launches him over. It just helps him walk off the side of this cliff.
It references back to that part earlier where I mentioned about Italians not knowing how to kick people.
When he kicked the dog. Yeah. The dog's like, hey, you can't kick me, you're Italian.
And the squarely with the sole of his foot. And he's just like, here you go.
Whoa!
And
were you trying to jump
him?
Man, and here we go. Fulci keeping it real. He loves this stuff. He would do it in 2 movies. As Don Alberto is falling to his death, he turns into the mongoloid mannequin monster. I feel for the special effects crew. They really couldn't get his face right at all. So as he's falling, he's screaming and falling, and he has this extended falling sequence, and his face is hitting the rocks as he's going down. And
this is the little known fact. That perfect bone structure was actually packed TNT.
Yep, and his face explodes. There's sparks at one point.
every time he touches the rock. So
it is fantastic. His face is blowing up. There's a cavity, like a blown open hole in his jaw.
Teeth and jaw.
Oh, it's gnarly looking, but it's also really stupid looking.
It's stupid and gorgeous.
You can't.
The third scene with this movie after the first viewing that stayed with me.
The important thing is you see in Don Alberto's imagination all of the boys in white surrounding him, playing soccer.
Back first, but yeah.
Now you see him killing a bunch of people in the movie, but you also see his vision of all of the boys wearing white, presumably saved and in heaven.
And then he goes and joins them.
And that's where I made the reference to the Music Man, "Pure Boys," which there you go. This is the end of the movie. His body falling there, and man.
When you gave me the questionnaire not long ago, I said this was my favorite giallo, and I still stand by that.
Oh yeah,
it's almost a perfect film. I'm not even sure what to say about it, other than it needs to be seen, and it needs to be seen multiple times. It's. I think when I texted you on Saturday that I was watching it, I was like, "This is almost my giallo version of Halloween 2, where I see something a little different, or I experience something new every time I watch it." And tonight was no different.
Yeah, this bears repeating. Like, this bears rewatching a lot. I saw this probably in 2004 or so. I have the Lucio Fulci collection, Volume 3, City of the Living Dead, which is just brilliant. Paired up with Don't Torture a Duckling from good old Anchor Bay. I love this is so nostalgic for me of just still having this copy in my hands. I'm very reluctant to upgrade, even though there's not really a great version of Don't Torture a Duckling out there yet.
Now, is that the version you got initially?
Yes.
Then you must have let me borrow it immediately.
Oh yeah.
After viewing it, because I know City of the Living Dead was one that I was looking for.
Yeah, this is
the very first of those of the Fulci films that I ever saw.
Oh yeah.
And then I always got it confused with another film.
The Beyond, or
no, it was Mausoleum, or is that the other title?
Or Burial Ground?
Is Mausoleum the other title of it, or was that a different film altogether?
Mausoleum is definitely a different film.
The advertisement for Mausoleum, and if I remember correctly, the City of the Living
Gates
Dead.
of Hell?
Gates of Hell.
Yeah, Gates of Hell is an alternate title of City of the Living Dead.
Then
yeah.
Gates of Hell and Mausoleum.
Yeah, they have
my video
very
store
similar look
and
to them.
Yeah, that's so I would confuse them. And then you brought me that, and I was like, yes, that was it, with the coffin and the...
Oh, yeah. The priest. Yeah, also another priest. Look out.
And then you said to watch the other film that was in there.
Oh, yeah.
And that was even better.
Telling you. Yeah, this is considered by most to be Fulci's best film. Even Fulci said so himself. My only complaints, things that if I have to look for something to complain about, the themes are really heavy-handed here. I mean, there's cool hidden stuff in it that you can interpret from the dialogue and from just how things play out, but a lot of it is really heavy-handed. Like, just some of the stuff is spoon-fed to you. It's very silly. The police procedural stuff is very prominent in this, and the plot itself is really complex. Like, I mean, if you've watched this film a bunch and you know what's going to happen, you can kind of not pay attention to it. But if it's your second viewing, you need to see all of this stuff to know what's going on. And that's just a complicated giallo. It's not really a criticism per se.
Well, and nowadays with people watching like things like Game of Thrones and trying to keep all that straight, this would be a cakewalk. But it is very complex for an hour and 40 minutes or whatever, 50 minutes. I don't remember how long it is. It's definitely one to pay attention to, and it is complex, and I hadn't fully straightened it out until like maybe the prior viewing to this or the one before that, and it was pretty fantastic.
I completely forgot about the comedic stuff. Completely forgot about all the jokes. Like, this time it's so funny how they peppered some of the serious with a few bits in there. That's just great. I'm glad they did that.
On at the haunted house when Giuseppe?
Yeah.
When there's one brief moment where he gets the door slammed in his face, and he turns around and gives a look to the camera. Just for a split second.
Because
It was so funny.
Fulci got his start directing comedies, so it's not a surprise that would be something that he just like, yeah, leave that in there. That's
It didn't
great.
seem unintentional. It just seemed like, here it is.
What do I do? One thing I thought of is the ending completely caught me off guard. Who the killer was with this. Like, originally, not counting the priest did it thing, like, I really was surprised and shocked and just, whoa, blown away by the whole thing. And that was 30 years plus after it came out. That it's still, even as quote-unquote jaded as people get with cinema, it's still, to be surprised by something is really great.
It was, on my first viewing, everything was juggling around so much. I don't think I quite fully got the scope of how they went to each character and were like, oh, it's this person. Oh, wait, it's this person. I didn't appreciate that till much later.
Manipulates you like a good mystery.
Yeah, and it was one that I remember watching initially, finishing it, and at some point later saying, I would like to see that again.
No doubt. This was written by Fulci himself and a pair of writers, Roberto Gianvitti and Gianfranco Clerici. These guys worked with him on The Psychic, which is also known as Seven Notes in Black, and they also worked a little bit on New York Ripper. These guys also worked on a film called Macabre from 1969, which is, speaking of complicated plots, that is a ridiculous movie. An episode that Jeffrey and I did on 5 Women for the Killer, which is another, not as smart. In fact, that movie is ridiculously backwards, especially being super sexist. It's kind of surprising that they would go from something this good to something that misogynistic and ridiculous, but still a good movie. A good mystery, but just, yeah. Listen to the beautiful 5 Women for the Killer episode. One of the titles for this is The Long Night of the Exorcism.
I never knew that.
That was the French title. And the Spanish title is really cool, is The Anguish of Silence. Which I was like, whoa, that is imagery that has nothing to do with the movie.
All of those titles, including the one that we're familiar with, are equally as disturbing in their own way.
Exactly. The only other thing I have is some stuff from good old Stephen Thrower in his book Beyond Terror. Before I get to that, do you have anything else you wanted to say about the movie?
The only thing I wanted to say, there have only been 2 giallos that I've been compelled to say, hey, I want to watch that again, and have watched on multiple viewings, this being the top of the list.
Yeah.
The other one that comes to mind was Four Flies on Grey Velvet.
Yeah.
And this one does it for me.
Oh,
I mean, it's not only an excellent giallo and an excellent mystery, it's an excellent film.
Totally.
It's a favorite.
Fulci, or the Fulch, brother, you nailed it.
I hated his collaboration with
I don't even know what you're going to say.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I thought you were setting up for a joke.
I was going to say I hated his collaboration with Chevy Chase, those Fulch movies.
That's the Felch.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I
yes.
heard it was coming back.
The Felch always comes back. Good old Stephen Thrower, one of my favorite writers on cinema in general. He's great. Probably the greatest cult movie writer abouter of thingies that you got. He taught me to say that sentence. Let's see. He says, Fulci's most outstanding film of the period is Don't Torture a Duckling, a film said to have been banned at one time in Italy due to a scene where Barbara Boucher exposes herself in the nude to a young boy. Fulci speculated that the controversy was a politically motivated response to his previous film, The Eroticist, or The Senator Likes Women. One particular politician had apparently seen it as a scathing attack on himself, a step forward from the convoluted narratives of the earlier thrillers with outstanding photography, and landmark moments of brutal violence. It demonstrates what was fast becoming a characteristically pessimistic worldview. Later, he says, Don't Torture Duckling has been criticized in some quarters for painting a bigoted picture of rural life. This is debatable, but Fulci was certainly not alone in depicting the south of Italy as rife with outmoded attitudes and intolerant violence. The perceived dichotomy between educated, sophisticated northern Italy and the corrupt and threatening south is one which occurs frequently in Italian films. In Fulci's favor is the fact that numerous ironies accumulate around the idea of a sophisticated, in quotes, city dweller whose detachment from the problems of rural life is pointedly attacked. Rural.
Let me just comment on that.
Yeah.
The south of Italy will rise again.
The Stars and Stripes fart ever?
How do you play the on the little mandolin things?
You don't. They don't let you. What is that movie with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, all of them.
Little Nicky's mandolin or something? I don't know.
Professor Michelelio's. I forgot what is it? Oh my god. Corporal Corelli's mandolin?
Something.
Corporal Corporelli. Corporal.
Thrower goes on to say, Don't Torture Duckling is a genuine one-off in Italian cinema. It looks great, sounds great, and embraces a clutch of prickly, off-the-wall subjects. Its coherence only rarely veers into the pedantic, with maybe a couple of scenes too many depicting the police search for the killer. Hey, that's what I said. And its idiosyncrasies stay in the mind well after other attempts at giallo thrills have receded into a distant glue of confused titles. Fulci remained proud of this movie until the end of his career, and he was right to be so affirmative about it, even calling it my favorite of my own films. Boom. Thank you, Steven.
Can't disagree with anything he said.
Well, thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you for having me again. That's one of my favorites.
The next giallo I want to subject you to, or subjugate you with?
Yeah, that one.
Is one you mentioned by title earlier, was Seven Deaths in the Cat's Eye, which has got Serge Gainsbourg in it, and his lady.
That's the one. Okay.
What's her name?
Mrs. Gainsbourg. Jane Birkin?
Yeah, Jane Birkin. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because he was also Brigitte Bardot's...
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
She's racist.
Yeah. She's all for the south of Italy rising again.
Thanks for listening, folks. Good night. Good. Hey, they can't hear you.
Oh.
Wave.
Bye.
Hello, This is the Doomed Show is available at hellodoomshow.podomatic.com. For the old episodes, check out the archives at doomedmoviethon.com. To contact the show, email us at doomedmoviethon@gmail.com or at doomedmoviethon on Twitter. For more Doomed Moviethon goodness, also visit cinemasomnambulist.com.
Well, hello, my dear friends. I am Baron Martino, and when I am not in Italy murdering beautiful fashion models, I enjoy hosting a little show called The Giallo Room. Giallo is basically the Italian word for yellow that often referred to cheap mystery novels with yellow covers published by Mondadori in the early 1900s. However, it later became the namesake of a notorious genre of films that peaked in the early 70s after Mario Bava, Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci, Sergio Martino, and many other talented Italian filmmakers introduced audiences to a new style of film that incorporated ornate cinematography, a pulsating soundtrack, beautiful female victims, and a black love killer, all together with a thrilling twist ending. Join me, won't you, as I share my unhealthy obsession of Giallo with you all in The Giallo Room. You can find The Giallo Room at youtube.com/c/The Giallo Room Show and facebook.com/The Giallo Room, as well as your closest participating adult film store. As always, my friends, grazie.
Looking for something different in your podcast library? Then why not check out the Podcast Under the Stairs? I'm the host, Duncan McLeish, and joining me each week will be a special guest as we examine some classic, old-school horror favourites, as well as some modern classics. That's not to say that we don't tackle some of the, let's say, more questionable entries into the horror genre. And if all that wasn't enough, we have a subset of shows called Baz v Horror, where our horror novice, the Baz, tackles horror in all shapes and forms to see who will come out victorious. So what are you waiting for? The show can be found at podcastunderthestairs.wordpress.com and on Stitcher and iTunes. The Podcast Under the Stairs is a proud member of Legion Podcast Network. This is Duncan McLeish from Under the Stairs, signing off.